Hey, what's up, fam? I wanted today on how you are thinking about your e-commerce traffic and how expensive it is these days, and just how much you're spending for clicks that don't convert. So by default, you are let's just set the stage. So you're spending for clicks based on the amount that you're willing to pay to reach 1,000 people, which is CPM, and then you are paying for that click based on your click-through rate of your effectiveness to reach those 1,000 people. Now, the cost to reach 1,000 people can range anywhere from $5 on Meta to $25 on Meta, depending on your audience, how effective your traffic is, or how effective your content is, and how effective you are at communicating in your ad through the copy and the creative to get them to buy. So essentially, your cost per click is determined by your CPM, cost to reach 1,000 people, how much you'll spend on that audience basically, and your CTR. Say it's 1% if you're doing average, I'd say, or doing well, you get 1% of that traffic to click through. And that is determined by the content you have and your copy. So if you're saying, for instance, hey chef, you call out a chef. She's like, yep, that's me. I'm going to then resonate with it. Okay, what is this? Is the creative something that I'd actually be interested in? It's a kitchen knife that solves all of my problems. Okay, yeah, I'm probably really interested in this, and it's only $15. Like, super interested. Why? What is this thing I've never heard of? I'll click through. Click-through rate's gonna be higher. Usually, we end up seeing brands are paying around $1.50 to sometimes $5 per click. Although there's brands that I've worked with where we're spending millions per month and they're spending 40 cents, 30 cents per click because they've have cheaper CPMs because they've spent more time in the auction, and we won't get in this whole rabbit hole there. All this is to say, you are probably still spending a ton of money on cost per click. And nobody really thinks about the fact that on print, you can send a postcard and postage stays the same. Just today, I was working on a platform called Postpilot. If you've ever heard of it, it is basically email, or it's Klaviyo. Postcard marketing meets Klaviyo. It's like for the modern day. So you can essentially sync your Klaviyo list. If you're on Shopify, if you aren't on Klaviyo, you need to be on Klaviyo. It's just like the standard for e-commerce. And you can sync a segment with a postcard that you are creating. This video is super high level, so I'm not going to go into how to do all of that, but I will have other videos on my channel breaking down how you can build this out and campaigns I've built and results to expect. But all this is to say, postage rates are not changing. As of now, let me see what postage rates are in the US. But we're sending out a cardalog, which is like a trifold. And it says here, there's a 5-cent increase as of July 14th that will take effect July 14th, 2024 from 68 cents to 73 cents. So there's actually going to be an increase on this, but it's still going to be 73 cents versus typical CPCs are, roughly around $1.50 to $2.50. So 2x what that is. All this is to say, if you're spending marketing dollars anywhere more than like $5,000 a month, it makes sense to start thinking about postcard marketing as a part of your marketing strategy. A lot of times when I thought of that originally, I thought, well, that's for like big brands, right? It's for brands doing millions a month, millions a year. But if you think about it, if you can guarantee that everyone's going to open the ad that you send it to, like, what is that really worth? And have that thing sit with them, or just have an impression, a true impression, a tactical impression that they can feel with your brand. It makes sense to go down that path. And I think the reason a lot of people don't do it is they think there's so many pieces, like before Postpilot, there's so many pieces you would have to go through. I used to do a lot of print marketing when I worked with another company starting as a designer. We'd have to get this like big file with all of the lists, and I don't even know how the printer got that file. And then we'd have to work with a minimum run of prints we can do. And then we would send this to a mass list of people we would have had to have gotten their addresses. And it was just so complicated for anybody who didn't live in spreadsheets or live in this print world. But now you can simply sync it to using Shopify, integrated with Klaviyo, aligned with Postpilot. You can simply kind of integrate the three and create a segment inside of Klaviyo. And I'm doing it with the brand right now. And essentially what we're doing is saying, hey, who are the people who have joined our email list 30 to 90 days ago? And meaning they've been on our list for at least 30 days, but they didn't buy. And then they have been on up to 90 days and they haven't bought. And let's send them a postcard, because those are the people who I think are likely the most engaged, who have come to our site, given us their email and said, I'm interested in learning more about the brand. And they still haven't pulled the trigger. So why not send them a postcard with a special offer with the product and kind of our, what I call like the product categories at a high level. And it's a trifold that they can open up. And for this, what they call cardalog, it's like a catalog, but it's cardstock. 80 cents to land at each person's house. It's just a no-brainer to do that. So if I'm sharing this video because I imagine most people don't even know that this is an option. And the cool thing about this is Postpilot was bought by Drew Sanaki, and forgetting the other guy's name right now, so sorry, but Drew Sanaki, somebody that I learned a bunch from in the e-commerce world. He was at Karmaloop and then at Auto Anything, and has gone on to acquire brands. And he's the one who's inspired me in my vision to buy, grow, and sell e-commerce brands in the future, and really just increasing their value through new customers, returning customers, and average order value, and looking how to incrementally move those three levers across the board. And so I followed kind of his journey, saw he had acquired Postpilot, tried it out, and it's been great. Like the ROAS on it is I'm not sure how the attribution works as well as like digital tools, but there is incremental revenue to be made on these tools. Like we saw like a 15 or 20x, I think, lift on the campaigns we were running. But the first one I ran didn't have specific codes, so I made sure this one has specific codes, so that way we can track the sales from those specific the revenue that's driven through that code specifically. So we made specific landers for this one too, and then I'm going to create a segment in Google Analytics specifically for this traffic that goes to a specific page. So we'll better be able to understand traffic and conversion from this campaign and do that on an ongoing basis. And we're not the brand I'm doing this with is a footwear brand in the workspace, and it's not a $100 million brand. Like, you can do this now if you have a brand that's even doing $500,000 a year. It is very, very, very smart to invest in this, because you are ensuring that you are hitting every person that opens it. But I wouldn't send it to everyone in the list. I would send it to people who are on your leads list, meaning they've opted in for email in a recent time period and they haven't bought yet. If you look at recency, frequency, monetary value with the RFM model, you're typically going to see that the higher the more recent it is, the more touch points they've had from a frequency standpoint, and the more money they've spent with you, the higher the next purchase is going to be. Now, even though these people haven't spent money yet, the recency is there and the frequency is there. If they've seen an ad or some sort of media and driven them to your site, they opted in for email, they're now getting your emails, they're now getting this postcard. Like, you start to feel like you're all around them. And I can go for days on this, but as a marketer, it's sometimes hard to remember that. And so just adding this as a touch point, a tangible physical touch point that looks great and that's on brand. Not to mention, these guys will design it for you. It's included in the price. And I'll put a link below to them. Basically, if you want to work with them, you can. And I will get a kickback if you do start with them. So just want to be transparent about that. But I just believe in what they're doing. And I use it myself for the brand that I work with, and believe in Drew Sanaki and his team and what they're all doing. And I've talked to a bunch of the designers over there, and they make great work. Like, it just makes sense. If you're spending money on meta ads, why would you not spend money on a channel that can guarantee cheaper clicks and give your customers a tangible experience with your brand? So I just wanted to share this video in case you've never realized that print marketing is an option for your e-commerce brand. And you didn't realize that you're probably paying too much for clicks these days. So With that, signing out. Peace.